God killed those kids because they were using NordVPN, promo code Destiny, to get around the Texas porn ban.
I mean, that's just kind of Destiny's like sense of humor. Some people hate it, like Piers. Like the two people with opposite senses of humor are Destiny and Piers. Destiny says stuff like this all the time, like in the Trump rally assassination attempt when the firefighter was killed. He said something like this because, and I agree with him, the sentiment of his tweet. He's like, conservatives should never be trying to grab some kind of moral high ground after the stuff that they've pulled. It should not happen. Like, not only did the state of Texas deny this county multiple times the funding that they requested for their siren system before the Biden administration, during the Trump administration, but then when they were sent ARPA funds by the Biden administration, they didn't even build a siren system, and they could have. And there's like transcripts of these wild Kerr County residents, like crazy conservatives, saying, we don't want communism in Kerr County. We must not build this system. We must send the money back to the Biden administration. The strings attached will destroy our county. Keep us independent from communism, Marxism, Chinese Communist Party, Biden administration. Like, that's the kind of stuff they were saying. There's a bunch of tweets about this, revealing those transcripts. And they only spent like a little bit of that money on some kind of radio system. They spent like $7 million of it on the radio system. Never built a siren system, but they were willing to under the Trump administration. But the state of Texas, which runs a budget surplus, denied them over and over again. So there's tons of blame to go around here. And Destiny's kind of frustrated with that. So that's why he's tweeting this. But obviously Piers is just gonna, not discuss any of that and just go straight to this, which I understand. This is kind of the edge of like insensitivity for humor. I mean, I don't care, but a lot of people probably would find this offensive. So, but Destiny doesn't really consider that. And it's not my job to tell him what to consider or to dig into like the deepest sensitivities of every person, even if those are quite obvious, because a lot of people died here.
On reflection, do you think that was grotesquely tasteless thing to be posting?
Absolutely not. The hand wringing here. Oh my God! Stop. If you want to talk about dead children, then you should talk about the residents of Kerr County who rejected using ARPA funds to build the very siren system that Ted Cruz was over here virtue signaling about. Now that the kids are dead, last I checked, the siren system isn't bringing anybody back to life. Okay, the very same system that they could have built for the better part of the last decade. They didn't want to touch those ARPA funds because they thought that if they
I would say it's Kerr County's fault in the recent developments under the Biden administration. And it's the state of Texas's fault under the Trump administration for not allowing them the funds, even though they had tons of funds, for denying something, a county that's right in the center of like the flash flood alley, I think they call it. They did not give them the modern siren systems, and a lot of officials over there say that the system would have saved lives. So, like, someone's culpable here, and it's all within Texas.
Biden would go and steal their homes, which is the exact same lie that was told in North Carolina when people were rejecting FEMA funds because they thought that if the government was giving them money for the houses, they'd steal it. If you want to talk about grotesque and ghoulish things that are being said, you put on.
Not only that, Trump dismantled the BRIC function of FEMA, which he actually was his own implementation and replacement of FEMA's previous disaster prevention response. Right? Disaster infrastructure responses. And BRIC was doing decent stuff. Like, they had projects all around the United States that served to prevent these kind of disasters from happening, and he dismantled it. He called it political. He wants to dismantle FEMA. How are conservatives complaining about disasters when they want to dismantle all the responses that we have to these disasters?
I agree with you. It's what you brought online. It is grotesque. It's disgusting, but I mean, I guess that's what you do.
How long have people like you told us that if we spend less money in Ukraine, you guys are going to spend more money investing in things like infrastructure in the United States? Where's that money going?
We just had another massive debt increase. Another massive debt increase
for more tax cuts for wealthy people. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
All right, let me get a bit.
How's that deficit doing?
Don't talk over each other.
How's our deficit doing?
Don't talk over each other. But just to be clear, Destiny, you don't. Just to be clear, Destiny,
I'm going to talk.
Please stop, Destiny. You don't. Just to be clear, Destiny.
I'm going to talk.
Please stop talking.
I'm not going to sit here and argue about jokes when these guys are spreading lies that are leading to the actual destruction of these. Oh, except you guys do when it happens in LA when it's about the wildfires. You guys make jokes when
yeah, the joke causes no material harm. What does cause material harm is idiotic conservative policy and the conspiracy theories that they constantly spread about these completely good government programs, like the conspiracy theories about BRIC being politically motivated and not being a good program when it was, and because of those conspiracy theories, Trump has shut it down. There is no BRIC anymore. He wants to dissolve FEMA. Like what? Why would you dissolve FEMA? Why would you dissolve prevention?
Vile person like you. Go look at my ex account. I don't delete tweets.
Just the rest of your party?
Don't talk over each other because we can't hear you.
All right, yeah, okay.
All right, but
So,
Destiny, just to be
let me say a couple things
clear,
here.
Destiny, just to be clear, you don't regret posting, I heard God kill those kids because they were using NordVPN to get around the Texas porn ban.
While you allow the very same misinformation to spread on this program that leads to people not putting up siren systems, okay, because they think that Biden is going to go steal their
That wasn't my
homes.
question.
I think it is absolutely insane.
Wasn't my question.
It is insane that you want to go and hand-wring liberals over jokes that are not even half as crazy as some of the things these conservatives say.
Okay, but just to be clear, you don't regret doing it.
There's no tweet like that out there.
Okay, just to be clear, Destiny,
absolutely not.
just to be clear, you don't regret posting it.
No, absolutely.
Okay,
not.
Ben Ferguson.
Here's a couple things here that I think there's proper information that should get out there. This is an area that I go to often. It's an area that I've taken my kids dozens and dozens of times. It's a very small rural community. When it rains there, there's always flooding because there's a lot of rock in the ground and the water doesn't absorb in the ground, so you have flash floodings that happen very quickly. I've been there when this happens. This was a once-in-a-lifetime 100-year flood. If you want to know...
Great, so, like, you can't... They denied the same excuse for the LA wildfires, which was actually, like, a historic event. The amount of accumulated fuel, the extremely hot temperatures, the extremely dry temperatures, like they had 2 wet years before this one. The extreme winds, like embers flying over 8-lane highways. Like you, then they say for that one, oh, it's Karen Bass's fault. It's like, no, this was actually something that you could have prevented. You cannot prevent embers flying over 8-lane highways, interstate highways, with 80-mile-an-hour winds, spreading a fire. It's not feasible. Houses will burn because those embers will make contact. And everything's dry. So him saying this is well, you could have had a better response system, right? Floods need good response systems. Fire is slower. There's not going to be like a massive development in the fire in just 46 minutes as there was in this flood where the water raised tens of feet that drowned people. That doesn't happen with fires. People usually have enough warning time.
About the funding for the system. It's an extremely small community, and the price tag for it is very, very big compared to the tax base that they have in this small community.
All right, so he's just lying. They had the state funds for it for the past decade, and they got the ARPA funds. They spent $7 million of those ARPA funds on a radio system that is not even complete yet. I don't know what happened to the other $3 million. Maybe they got spent on other stuff. All we know is that the residents of Kerr County did not want that money to be spent on infrastructure. They revolted against it because they're conservative maniacs. And it did not get spent on a siren system, and it could have easily done. They had $10 million. They could have easily done that. The state of Texas could have easily given them enough money to build that siren system.
Is not because of the Matt Boone stuff this guy's talking about. That is not why the community decided 6 years ago to not do it, even though they wanted to. It was a cost issue. What's going to happen?
Not 6 years ago, under the Biden administration. 6 years ago was when they applied for the Texas state funding, and they got denied multiple times. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it with their own funds, so they applied for state funds. They got denied, even though Texas has plenty of room in the budget.
But now is you're going to have state funds and federal funds, and that system will happen. But go back to this once-in-a-lifetime flood that took place. No one could have prepared or thought this was going to happen. People bought homes on a river where there was constant flooding, where they're built high enough up that flooding has never gotten there before in the history of their lifetime. So this is a tragedy that took place. And by the way, this is personal because I know people who lost children. There are funerals that are taking place.
Just to be clear, you're saying that there are
talking about a funeral for a second.
You're saying
let him finish,
15 times. So you're saying there are no citizens saying that they don't want to use the American Rescue Plan funds. They didn't want to use that money because they thought Biden would take their homes.
I'm going to go back to what I said.
That transcript doesn't exist.
Can you let him finish, given he was talking about the funerals of dead children?
I have friends whose kids
Please let him finish what he was saying.
He doesn't care. As long as he admits he doesn't give a fuck about the dead kids. That's okay.
You know what, Destiny? You don't give a fuck about the dead kids, do you?
Admit it. I do.
Because you thought it was funny. You thought it was funny.
To take money away
you
from
thought
these
it was
things.
funny to go on X and talk about,
Piers,
I heard God killed those kids because they weren't using a NordVPN to get around the Texas porn ban. That is disgusting. You're the one using dead children in a grotesque manner.
Yeah, what happened to comedy being legal? Like, We're talking about policy here. Tons of absurd things get posted on Twitter. Much of it, like recently, has been posted by Grok AI itself. Right? Where's Piers Morgan? I guess this is too early for that. But people say stuff all the time. People have different senses of humor. Just get over it and talk about the actual siren system. Like, in no way was this a local funding issue. That's what he's making it out to be, on the guy on the right. He's like, local fund. No, you had state funds, ARPA funds, right? No, why were none of them used? Well, it's the state of Texas' fault, and it's the Kirk County residents' fault for not demanding those funds be used for a siren system. Instead, they demanded the opposite. They were like, send it back to the Biden administration. We don't want communism.
Let me just lay that down on Twitter, for the record.
Just to be clear, let me lay it down as well. How many people did my joke kill?
No, it's just disgustingly tasteless.
Exactly.
You're sick, man.
And then how many kids died because there's no siren system? Because people like this guy over here made up the lie that Biden was going to steal your homes if you accept the American Rescue Plan. If you accept American Rescue Plan money. Exactly.
I never made that up.
I would like to hear Ben. I would like to hear Ben finish the story he was telling us when he was talking about the funerals of dead children. So let him finish that, please.
What do you mean I didn't have the funerals? Can that be better?
Rather than you talking about why you were right to crack a sick joke. Ben.
Okay. I go back to the point here. This flood did not ask if you were liberal or conservative, rich or poor, black or white, or anything else in between.
All right, this is boring now. They're never going to talk about it. Tyler Cohen said some weird stuff about Epstein files on this panel. Destiny never got the chance to make the argument, even though, like, it's not the best argument. Like, the Kirk County residents were crazy. Some of them, the ones who spoke in that transcript. But at the end of the day, I don't know if the leadership actually bought into that. Like, I don't know exactly why the siren system wasn't built. I know that there are funds that could have easily been put together to make a $1 million fund funded by either the state of Texas or by ARPA to build that siren system. That is more than possible. Now, I don't know the minutia of why that didn't happen. I have my guesses, but the fact that didn't happen is who we should blame here. And we should not be talking about, oh, I know someone who died. Like, what? No, we're trying to figure out how to prevent people from dying.